What's up, nerds? It's me, Kevin Smith, man. You're watching Ryan and Draz on Toy Nerds. These fucks know their shit, man. What up, those toy nerds? Do them a solid and hit subscribe right now and watch these boys play with their toys. Toy Nerds!
What's up guys, Ryan here for Toy Nerds. So today is a different bit of an episode. We are going to mod a toy, and this toy is of course going to be based on the new game Cyberpunk 2077. I have just picked up this game and I'm very excited to play it. I've been excited to play this game for about 7 years because that's basically how long it's been since it's been announced. This is right up my alley, RPG set in the future. First-person shooter. It has everything that I could ever want in a game. It looks like it's the 80s, but it's set in the future. Hello, this is just me, summed up in a video game. I'm very excited to play it. But for some crazy reason, they decided not to release any collectibles except for the statue that comes with the collector's edition. So, you love all the guns, you love all the gameplay, there's nothing you can buy to go with it. It's very unfortunate. So I've taken it upon myself to build a gun based off this game. Of course, it's not going to be exact, it's more inspired by. So, you know, if you feel up to it, this total build cost us, overall it's about $20. $20 for the gun, and then whatever you need out inside of that. You might not need everything that I use, you might already have it. And in fact, you don't even have to use all the things that I use, but this is just a bit of a run through of what I like and what I wanted to do with this gun. Alright, and here's your shopping list. And I just want to note that you don't need to buy anything outside of the gun. If you already have spray paints, whatever you have in the house, just use those. Just make sure you can clear coat them and then you're good to go. In this build, I'm using a Nerf Ultra 5. You guys can use whatever gun you like. In spray paints, I'm using a satin poppy red, a grey primer, and a flat black. A really cheap body filler by SCA. Clear coat by White Knight, 220 grit sandpaper, and some model paints, in particular chainmail silver, and some bloody red by Game Color. Anyway, let's get into this build. I hope you enjoy it. If you dig this stuff, let us know in the comments below, and if you like what you see, make sure you hit the subscribe button, leave a comment in the below, and make sure you hit that like because it'll definitely help us out appear in more places over YouTube and help us build this channel and grow in this sort of community. Alright nerds, here we go. So first things first, let's get this beast of a blaster out of its shell. The thing for me with this piece is I just wanted to do a one-day build. Of course I do go overnight, but I mean one day is in 24 hours, get this thing completed. So once you get it out, it's got 5 screws on the top. Take those out, remove the pullback trigger, and then just watch out for the clip there because it does get stuck a bit. Take off the Ultra logo, it's just a couple of clips at the back, and that'll pop off, but it will leave you with these holes. We're going to fill those in later. Next is taking off the Ultra and the Nerf logos. I'm going to use a rotary tool to do that. You can use whatever you like, a sandpaper. You might need to get a pretty coarse one though to get it off, and it will take you some time. You want to make this as flat as you possibly can, but if you do go in too far, don't worry too much as we're going to fill it. But definitely don't leave any overhang, so get it as flat as you can. Next up is we're going to use some Bondo or some body filler. This is a really easy process. It might look difficult, but it's really not. Just mask off the areas where you don't want it to come through because it is quite a liquid product. It will fall through holes if you don't leave them sealed. So body filler comes in 2 parts. It's the hardener and then the body filler. You need 50 parts body filler and 1 part hardener. Just mix those together as well as you possibly can and then mix some more until you have some this beautiful pink kind of color. And then just fill it over the top. I'm being pretty liberal with this as I will take a lot of that off and then the rest I will sand off. So I'm not so worried on how it looks because I will sand it. So we've waited a few hours for this to dry. Depending on what you use, it will tell you on the back how long the curing time is. For me, it was about 3 hours. So take off the masking tape and then we're going to use a 220 grit sandpaper and sand forever. But once you're done, it will actually have a very, very smooth finish. If I wanted to take more time, I probably would have done it again with a bit more Bondo, but I wanted to keep a one-day build, so I'm not too worried. So next we're going to do with grey primer. Of course, with any kind of plastic, you definitely want to prime it. Once you've done that, you can put your color on, and here I'm using a Pop Red. This is of course by Rust-Oleum, the best brand of spray paint in my opinion. Next we're going to prime the rest of the gun. I've masked up the top so that way no paint gets into the working pieces. So the next part for me is I'm going to make some graphite, and I'm going to paint the gun with the graphite. And the way you do that is either you buy a barrel of graphite, which is about 50 bucks in Australia, it's pretty expensive, or you can make your own by getting either HB pencils or what I used, which was a builder pencil, and then taking out the lead and sanding it. And you can see that I've got a little barrel of graphite there, and all I'm going to do is brush it on. It's really, really, really easy to do, and the effect that you get will be this gunmetal silver chrome look, but then with the red underneath, it should be pretty awesome. So just brush it on and try to keep as even as possible. You can see that I was a bit spotchy in certain parts, and that's because the clear coat that I used was a bit tacky. I was trying to do it as best as I can, but at the end of the result, I don't mind too much anyway. So once you've done the brushing on, you want to grab a bit of toilet paper or whatever you can, tissue, and then buff it off. And once you buff it off, it starts leaving this awesome kind of chrome effect. You can see it there. And of course it's dulled the red. I'll grab one of the pieces and see what I mean. It's really, really dulled it down, but it's so glossy now. Then just clear coat that. Beautiful, mate. And then we're going to flat black the handle. Yes, it was flat black before, but the gold part of the finger protector needed to be done. So we're going to do that. Leave that to dry. Of course, again, mask off any bits you don't want to hit with spray paint. And once we do that, we're going to graphite the rest of the gun. And this part looks awesome for me. This is my favorite part. Do the whole gun, keep it going. And once you're done, we're going to buff it off again. And once you've done the buffing of the silver part, you can go back and do the handle. And once you've finished that guy, we're going to be in a really good place to seal it and then do some highlights and some really quick dry brushing. So I feel like the graphite came out really well in the black. In fact, now that I know that, I might go back and do this gun again with a full black. I really didn't like the way the red on the top of the handle was sitting with all the rest of the silver and the black. It just felt really out of place. So I added some red to the front of the gun to kind of blend it all in and kind of seem like it was more part of the color scheme of the gun. And of course, mask everything out that you can mask out. And I was just trying to paint this really simply in there, and masking it is the way to do it. And it's really cheap to do. You don't have to get this blue tape's mask. You can get the white stuff. It can be $3. As long as it's got a good tack and doesn't remove any of your paint, you're laughing. So this wasn't exactly the same color red as the one on top. So I am going to dull it down with some washes. But first, I'm going to do some dry brushing with a beautiful silver. Now I use Gain Color paints here. They're by Vallejo. You can get them pretty much at any hobby store. But I am going to send some links down the bottom, and I do recommend using Citadel brushes or Vallejo brushes. Completely up to you, but they are just really good quality. They are a little bit expensive, but they are good quality. For something like dry brushing though, just get a cheap brush. You're going to ruin it, so just get something cheap. Now dry brushing is really simple. You basically put some paint on a brush and then wipe it all off, basically leaving you with a tiny incy little bit on the brush. And then after that, we're going to paint the silver effect onto the blaster, and this will just kind of make all the colors pop and give it a kind of realism that you can't get from just a single coat. And now for the big reveal. So I'm pretty happy with this. It turned out pretty well. I'd have some changes if I had my time again, and I may do that in another video on another blaster. But overall, I love the graphite effect. I love the red toning that came out of it. I would like to use a different clear coat because it seemed a little bit tacky, but that's okay, no problem with that. This is just gonna go straight to the shelf and we're gonna go from there. So if you like what you saw, if you did, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and obviously like this video because it'll help us grow here on YouTube. And if you're looking for some of the tools that I used in this video, check out the description below as they are all clearly listed below. But until next time, I'll catch you nerds at the toy store. Or playing Cyberpunk 2077, what?